hope lives always. Yesterday was May the 4th, and in my family, May the 4th is Star Wars Day. For those who are uninitiated, think about it like this. It's a bad pun. In Star Wars, they say, may the Force be with you. So the day you celebrate it is May the 4th of whatever year that it happens to be. But for me, that movie, Star Wars, and all the continued movies made after it, is a part of one of my favorite memories with my dad. My dad was having cancer treatments in California, experimental treatments for a cancer that could not be cured. And he decided to make a trip for our family out of having to go to California to this special clinic. And my dad got tickets to episode 1 of the new Star Wars trilogy that had just come out that year. Now, this was before any of us knew that that wasn't a very good movie, but we got to see it in the Chinese theater where people put their handprints on the ground. And so for me, it was a very special moment this year when I took my daughter to see episode 9, the last of all of those movies together. It was a coming full circle of a Star Wars James family tradition. So in the midst of Star Wars Day of May the 4th, I've also been preparing a Bible study on the book of Acts. And I noticed that there's something in those movies that is in the Bible. Granted, there are many things in those movies that are in the Bible, but something that really jumped out at me, especially with what we are going on. In the book of Acts, we see the church starting, the early church, before there are church buildings, before there are places of worship. They are small communities of people meeting inside of each other's homes. And people are annoyed by these Christians. The leaders of the community, the religious leaders, are annoyed. And as you read through the book of Acts, you see that annoyance then turns to jealousy. People are listening to them, but they're not listening to these leaders. That jealousy then turns to rage. And that rage then turns to an intense hatred and a desire to kill these people. It reminds me of Yoda in Star Wars, who says fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, and hate leads to suffering. That's the path to the dark side. But it made me think about what's going on right now. As we live in isolation, people are getting angry, and that anger is boiling over and boiling over and boiling over. I don't want to see what happens when those things compile on top of each other. Instead, may we be filled with hope. And may our hope turn to care. May our care turn to unity. And may our unity turn to an intense feeling and expression of love for one another. As we suffer this together. And as we rebuild and get through this together. So today, the day after Star Wars Day, may the force of hope be with you, because hope lives always.